Hey guys, it's Karina with KarynaLovesToPlan. Welcome back to my channel. So this looks like this is a completely different haul than what I've ever done before, and I feel like my Hobonichi purchases have definitely influenced this purchase. These are fountain pens and inks. I've never purchased fountain pens and inks before, but I've kind of fallen down the rabbit hole, and I wanted to show you guys my first ever fountain pens and the first inks I've purchased. And then once I've gotten a little bit more experience with how to use these, I'll probably do proper swatches of the inks and give you guys my reviews really on what I think of these pens. Let's get started. So the first order that I made was through Amazon actually, and Amazon's kind of hit or miss when it comes to fountain pens, but I was able to find this Pilot MR Retro Pop in the orange, and I had to do a lot of research after I purchased it because I thought, is this going to be a real pen? What is the converter? How's it going to look? Things like that. But upon my, I guess, relief, it is actually, this is what it comes with. And after doing a little bit more research as well, basically Pilot MR, it's not interchangeable with the term Pilot Metropolitan. MR is a certain, it's very similar to this pen, but MR is what was produced or what it's known as in Europe. And this particular collection is called Retro Pop. So they have different collections with different colors, but I'm going to show you guys basically what this pen is all about. So just putting these two together. Oh wow. So it's got, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So this pen has kind of like a torpedo shape to it, and then it's got this orange color. I don't feel like you can kind of really get the color in the camera. It looks more like orangey bronze. I love the color, and then you can see that pattern that's in the middle. So every color in this collection, in the Retro Pop collection, has a different pattern in the middle, and it's got the word Japan here, and oh, I'm going off camera, Japan here. You guys see that, making sure that I'm, yeah, so you've got the Japan there, and it's a very smooth body. Now just take this apart here, and then you've got, I bought this in the fine nib. So again, zoom in. So this I bought in the fine, I believe it's the fine, or the, you know what, I can't even remember. I believe it's the fine nib that I purchased this in, but I think you can purchase in fine or medium, and if you guys know my writing, I do like the fine nib. And then to take it apart to actually look inside, it's just easily unscrew, and then inside it's got this squeeze ink converter if you want to use fountain pen ink. So instead of actually using the cartridges that are included, which are currently sitting on the desk below, you can actually stick this straight into an ink bottle and use this squeeze ink converter to bring the ink up through the nib into the body here. So that'll be very, very interesting for me to try. But what I like about this pen so far is that it's got a good weight to it. It's not too light. I don't feel like I'm going to fling it across the room. And then the click, the thing that I've seen a lot of pen reviews is that the cap click on it nicely, and it does. And I don't know, I just like the feel of it. Now, because I don't have ink in here at the moment, I won't be able to show you what it writes with. But once I get used to this, I'll give you guys a proper review of what this looks like. But like I said, I'm taking this off here, and it's got that squeeze converter, but you can also, if you want to take out the squeeze converter, yeah, take it out, very easy to take out, and then you can actually just put the ink cartridge straight in with a bit of a click. And if you want the ink cartridge, you do have to wait a little bit to let that ink go through and see if it will write now. And then I was trying to figure out, why isn't the ink going through into the nib, and then I realized I had to squeeze the ink cartridge a few times. But oh, I love how smooth it writes. This is not the best paper for this, but I do love how smooth it writes. And I do like the fine tip on here. I don't know, maybe I could have gone with an extra fine, but I do like the fine tip on here so far. So that is the Pilot MR Retro Pop in the orange, and I've put one of the ink cartridges in here, and this is the squeeze converter. I bought the Pilot Con 40 converter because I thought it needed it, but this actually came with it. You can certainly replace it with the Pilot Con 40 converter, so if you wanted to use fountain pen inks, you can use that, but I actually have a different purpose for this as well. So I'm going to go put this actually back in here and then show you guys my next purchase. So my next purchase was from Wonder Pens in Ontario, Canada, and they're a fantastic shop actually. So I decided to buy some samples of some Diamine inks, and these are Shimmertastic, so they've got glitter and shimmer in them. And then because I know I love writing with black ink, I did buy a big bottle of the Noodler's ink Borealis Black. I think now I probably should have just bought a sample and see how I like it, but I've heard great things about Noodler's ink, so we will see. So those are the inks. I won't do swatches of these, unfortunately, just because I'm not completely, like I'm such a newbie to fountain pens, but I'm excited to try Diamine Sparkling Shadows, Diamine Shimmertastic Arabian Nights, Diamine Night Sky, Diamine Moon Dust, and Diamine Cocoa Shimmer. So these four are kind of grayish, bluish black, and this one is a brown. So I wanted to put this in the Pilot the Pilot MR, but now that it's got the black cartridge in here, maybe this would go well in one of the other ones. So those are the inks. The first pen I'm going to go into is the TWSBI Go. So this is the I guess cheaper of the two TWSBIs, and this one is in the fine. Now let me open it. So this is in the fine nib, and I love that it comes in a box, but look at that. Let's get my, okay, so it comes with a little instruction manual, because I know I'll need that, and it kind of shows you, okay, so it shows you how you're going to fill, and for instructions for how to clean your fountain pens, there are a lot of videos on YouTube. Hi Lucy, my puppy's right here. So I'm gonna gently take this off, but as you can see, I got this in the fine. Let's move this packaging out of the way. So this is in the fine, and I always, there's a theme running here that I get these pens in the clear Demonstrator model because I love seeing the workings, the inner workings of the pen. I love being able to see the ink once it's in there. So this is in the fine nib. I'll bring this closer. So this is in the fine nib, and you've got the TWSBI logo in there as well. But you can look through and see the body and see the piston filler that is in there. And the reason that I chose the TWSBI Go is one, for price point for a beginner fountain pen user, but also because of how easy it is to fill with ink. So then with the lid as well, you've got the TWSBI logo on the lid, and it is all plastic. And then the cap is actually quite good because it snaps on, but then also covers the nib at the top to prevent it from drying out. So now for this particular pen, in order to fill it, you actually unscrew this portion, and then you actually stick the nib into the ink bottle. So for example, this ink bottle, you stick it right in there, and you actually push this down, and it fills the chamber with ink. I'm excited to figure out which ink to put into this. One sec. So I'm going to try and fill it with the Diamine Cocoa Shimmer. I apologize for Lucy. This is the time she decides to come into my office. So I'm going to be very, very careful. This is the first time I'm ever filling any of my fountain pens. So basically, I'm going to just push the piston down. It's not filling like I'd like it to, and I'm getting ink everywhere, so Let's see if I can clean it. Okay, let's wipe off the excess, and already I can tell it's going to be a gorgeous brown. Let's wipe off the excess ink here. I've already got ink all over myself. Oh, look at that beautiful brown. Oh, and this writes really nicely. So this is the Diamine Cocoa Shimmer. And this is in TWSBI Go Fine. Oh, I love that. That is beautiful. I didn't get a ton of ink in there, but love it. Love it. So that is the TWSBI Go. Kind of afraid I'm going to wreck that. All right, so next I have, I guess the step up. I don't know. It's the TWSBI Eco Tea. Let's open this up. Okay, there's a user manual. And oh, and then it comes with this little wrench so that you can actually take it apart. And what is this that comes with it? Do you not swallow? Well, obviously. Silicone grease. Okay, so, oh, to kind of help with it as well. So no rubbing alcohol. And let's just take this out and have a look at the pen itself. So look at that. Again, you guys are seeing the pattern that I'm liking, my clear demonstrators. And my even in view. Look at that. So compared to the TWSBI Go, the Eco is longer, and I got the Eco in an extra fine. And oh, it is a twist cap. And yes, I believe this is in the extra fine. Let me just look on my box. Yeah, it is in the extra fine, and it is a piston just like the Go. Oh, and the way that this works, I'm sure many of you are familiar, is that you actually stick this in the ink and then push this all the way down to get all the air out. And then once you've got it actually in your ink, then bring it up and fill the chamber with the ink. And then this is a good, I believe it's a good cap because it does reach all the way into, or touches the nib to prevent it from drying out. I am not the best when it comes to explaining or describing these pens, but you've got like the TWSBI logo here, and it's able, it won't roll away, although if you don't have the cap on, yeah, so you need the cap on in order for it to prevent it from rolling away. You've got the TWSBI logo up at the top, but I just love the look of that. And if you've got a really vibrant ink in there, that'll just look amazing. Kind of like a really nice green would look amazing in here with some shimmer. I won't fill it with ink right now, but I just think it looks gorgeous. All right, so that is the TWSBI Eco with the extra fine nib. And lastly, I got the Pilot Kakuno in, I believe I can't remember which one this was. Oh, in the fine. Well, it would help because it says F right there. And again, this one is in the clear. Now, this particular pen does come with an ink cartridge, but I won't be using that. Then this ink cartridge I could also use in the MR Metro Pop. But look at that pen. Yeah, it's the extra fine. And what I like about this is that you've got the happy face on the nib, so you can tell which way is facing up, and it is a very light pen. Like, this fits so nicely in the hand, and it's got the shape in here so that you can actually place your fingers properly if that is the way that you write. Oh, I love the feel of that already. It is a very light pen though, because I think it is plastic, and then the lid snaps on very nicely, and because of the shape of it, it's a hex hexagonal, yeah, that's right, hexagonal shape to the body. It won't roll away on you, and the cap is actually nice. It does snap on quite well and then protects the nib too. And then in terms of the system for how this will fill, this is why I bought the Pilot Con 40 converter, and I can use this converter with this pen to fill it with ink. I won't fill it with ink now because we saw how that went with the TWSBI Go, but once I'm more familiar with it, I can show you guys how I do that. But loving these choices so far. I decided to go with the fine with the Pilot because I've seen just the different measurements of it, and I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but Pilot in general, because it is a Japanese brand, their fine and extra fine are very fine, almost probably too fine for me, which is why I just went with the fine on that one. So that is the Pilot Kakuno in the clear Demonstrator. Love the clear. So those are the first 4 fountain pens that I have purchased, and I mean, so far, just the way to hold them, I'm already loving the weights of them, and I just love the look of them, and I can't wait to see what they will all look like with ink in them. And already how they're writing, I'm absolutely loving it. So I can't wait to use my Hobonichis and be able to use these in them as well, and then get fully immersed in the world of fountain pen inks. Alright, but that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a little bit of a haphazard video. This was not at all an expert view on fountain pens. I am a newbie beginner. I feel like that is a disclaimer that should be on the screen. But if you guys have your favorite fountain pens, your beginner fountain pens, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, but that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them again in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.